You already know what it means when I have this mic in my hand, and for those of you who don't, it means another book review is coming your way. Let's talk I Almost Forgot About You by Terry McMillan. I'm just gonna say I love this book down. So it follows Georgia Young, who's 53 going on 54. She's basically at a point in her life where she's like, there is no spark in my life. Been married twice, been divorced twice. She has 2 children, 2 daughters. Let me not say children, but she has 2 daughters. They're grown, off living their own life. One's in college, one's married, she has 2 kids, all that. Georgia is an optometrist and she's just bored with her career. She's bored with life. So she's like, something has to change. There was 2 things that I got from this book. One was, it is okay for you to pivot no matter what age, no matter the career. If you're unhappy, you can change your situation, even if it scares you. And 2, I already know this, but I just love the idea of telling people what they mean to you while they're in your life. And the reason why I say that is because at some point in the story, Georgia comes in contact with a young woman who has the same last name as a guy that she messed around with in college or dated in college. And the girl ends up telling her, Georgia was like, oh my gosh, I recognize this last name. There was a guy that I dated that had the same last name. And she told her the guy's name, and the girl was like, oh, that was my dad. And Georgia was like, oh my gosh, what, how is he? Like, I loved your dad and this and that. And she was like, he passed away. And that hurt Georgia, which led her down this rabbit hole of wanting to reach out to the men that she loved and tell them what they meant to her. And I love that. And it might sound crazy to other people or anyone listening right now that might sound crazy, but I feel like sometimes people come into your life and they change it for the better, and you're not always in a position to tell them that. So wait, did I already say that she was gonna, I said it led her down a rabbit hole to tell the men that she loved how she felt about them, like what they made her feel. She said, and I'm gonna read it, I'm reading it off my notes, so I'm looking this way at my laptop. I want to tell them what they gave me. I want to find out what I gave them. I want to remember why I loved them. I want to find out why they loved me. I want to understand why we stopped loving each other. I want to find out why we stopped caring for each other. I want to find out why we hurt each other. I want to apologize. I want to explain. I want to forgive them. I want to find out if they've forgiven me. I want to figure out why it's so hard to forgive. I want them to know I didn't forget about them and I just chose now to remember. But more than anything, I really want to know if they're still alive and healthy and happy and thriving, and if they become the person they wanted to become. I hope so. And I thank Raymond Strawberry for helping me see this. Raymond Strawberry was the guy whose daughter Georgia ended up talking to. He passed away and the daughter told him. But anyways, I just love that. Whether it's romantic or platonic, people come into your life and so many things can happen to where it ends up changing you for the better, sometimes for the worse. But regardless, I think it's good to tell people how they've made you feel, and no matter what that looks like, even if it's like you expressing why you love them, or is you expressing you wanting to apologize for the things you did, like even if it's something like that, you want to apologize to them. I just feel like people need that. And some people will say like closure isn't important, but I'm not one of those people who I don't necessarily feel like I need closure. This video is going to be so hard for me to edit because I'm really going off at this point, I have notes, but I'm going off the top of my head as I speak about this. Okay, sometimes people make it seem as if the people who need closure, like something's wrong, or like closure is a bad thing. But I don't feel like that. I feel like it can be a bad thing depending on the 2 people in the situation. But if the 2 people are open to not only receiving, if you're open to listening to how you may have made someone else feel, and the opposite person is open to listening to how they've made someone feel, and then you are honest about whatever transpired between the two of you, I feel like closure can be a great thing. Just like she said, like, I want to find out why we hurt each other. I want to find out why we stopped caring for each other. I want to find out why they loved me. I want to remember why I loved them. She said, I want to explain, and then just saying, but more than anything, I really want to know if they're still alive and healthy and happy and thriving. And if you became the person you wanted to be. Like, that, to me, I love that. And I just feel like, yeah, certain things could go wrong, but I feel like it's only a situation of if you let your ego or pride get in the way to where you're like, I would never do that. But you never know what that can do for a person. Not even just yourself, because obviously, well, let me not say obviously, but depending on how the situation goes, you'll feel good getting that off of your chest and having the conversation. But on the flip side, you never know what that can do for someone else. That could put life back into them. Just having that conversation, especially if you're someone that they truly cared about, and obviously the situation just didn't work out. But yeah, I was just like, I loved that. I loved that she came to that conclusion from having the conversation with the young girl whose father she had previously dated. The girl's name was Cleo Strawberry, and her dad's name was Raymond Strawberry. So yeah, because that's what I put. I said she meets Cleo Strawberry, new patient, because Georgia is an optometrist. She meets Cleo Strawberry, who just so happens to be the daughter of someone Georgia had a sexual relationship with in college. Georgia finds out Raymond died, the first man she fell in love with. Georgia is sad about this because my laptop is far, so I can't. I'm over here like, what? I can barely see. What did I say? Georgia is sad about this because Ray never knew she loved him. This leads her to wonder where the other men she once loved might be, how their lives turned out. Are they happy? Are they alive? She then wants to reach out to the men she once loved, 7 men, I put that in parentheses, to tell them what she gained from loving them, maybe even hating them. She wants them to know they were once important to her. Like, what? How could you be against that? Maybe it's just me. And I'm not saying, like I said, obviously with the people that you truly do this with, if you're going to do it with the people that you truly care about. Not just, I don't want to say, not just any old fling. That's unnecessary. We know why this ended. And you didn't really mean that, nothing to me, for real. Not to sound so harsh or cold or whatever, but yeah, I have a quote, there's a quote in the book that I liked, and it said, "It's now obvious that the way we're raised has a major impact on what kind of person we turn out to be, but so does who we love," which is so true. That's why I'm saying you never know. Like, people come into your life and they can change you for the better. They can change you for the worse. I prefer changing me for the better. But you just never know what you're going to get when you go into a relationship. You never know what the outcome is going to be. Both of the things, like I said, as far as her wanting to pivot from her career because she just feels so bored, that part too hit home, because sometimes you really just get in situations and you just feel stuck. Like, I'm just doing this, I'm working this job because it pays the bills, but this isn't what I really want to do. And Georgia was like, I took the safe route in college and went into this went into this field, but now I'm sitting here like, I am so bored. I don't want to do this anymore. And she ends up like Georgia. She basically does like interior designing and stuff like that. Like she loves creating things. She'd have made bar stools and all types of stuff. Her home, she decorated. She designed her whole home. And when people come to her house, they're like, oh my gosh, who did this? Like, this is so cool. And she's like, me. And I thought that was cool too. She's like real live HGTV. So she kind of leans into that. Not even kind of. She leans into that. Like, as she's trying to figure out what it is she wants to do, she's just like, I'm just going to create. And from that, she learns, like, this is what I want to do. This is what I love doing. I enjoy doing it. She enjoyed it so much that she would just make stuff and, like, give it to people. When people would offer to pay her, she's like, no. Like, I'm just doing it because I love doing it. But eventually you start to see, like, okay, I could make some money from this. She goes as far as she's about to sell her home because she's like, my kids have left. She has an empty nest at this point. So she's like, my kids are gone. I don't have no man. I'm about to sell my house, get an apartment, condo or something, and I'm going to travel. She wanted to take a train ride. And this part is where I was like, this is so crazy. This is actually my second time reading the book. I didn't think about this. For my birthday, I'm going to Canada. So as I'm reading the book, why does she end up wanting to take a train ride from Vancouver, Canada to Toronto? And that's literally what I'm doing for my birthday. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was meant for me to read this when I read it. My birthday is in like 12 days. That's crazy. But I was like, I just love that. She was like, she wanted to take a train ride, something she'd never done before. I'm just gonna go to I'm gonna go all throughout Canada. From freaking California, that's where she at, in the Bay, California to Canada. And I'm just like, do you, boo-boo. I love that. I love when people travel anyway. But she's like, I don't want to do this. She wanted to do it by herself. Her mom wanted to come with her, and she was like, no, this is just something that I need to do for myself. I'm not taking no train ride. I'm not going to be on a train. But I just thought that was so crazy that for my second time reading the book, in my life right now, this is the same place that I'm going to for my birthday. And then she's doing this. But that was neither here nor there. I just wanted to throw that out there. But yeah, the book is so funny. My favorite person that she reconnected with was Abraham, which was her first real boyfriend. It just reminded me of myself to a certain extent, and reconnecting with someone and it just being the best day you've ever had. Like, let me not say ever had, but one of the best days you've ever had. That's how their situation was. When they were in college, Abraham was lazy and Georgia was just like, this isn't who I see myself being with. She ended up getting pregnant. She got an abortion. Then they just broke it off because she was like, this isn't, you're pretty much not living up to who I thought you were, and I don't want to do that. And she could tell that if she would have stayed with him, her life would have went down a different path. So she was like, we got to break up. They broke up, never spoke to each other again. But when they reconnected, she told him all the ways that she made him feel, and he told her, and they were just like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy this is happening. They really wanted to do, but that didn't happen. Abraham is married at the time. Georgia's single. Abraham's married. They go out to dinner, go back to Georgia's house, sit on the floor watching movies, talking, and he's like, as much as I really want to do this with you, I like that we can just sit here and talk to each other. And they played house for that day. And I don't agree with that because you are married. They did end up kissing, but they didn't have sex. But still, like I said, I don't condone that. I just was like, I liked the connection between them two. That was my favorite person that she reconnected with. Or that she expressed her previous love for. She did that with her two ex-husbands as well. Didn't care about them. Then towards the end of the book, she ends up reconnecting with Georgia's a black woman, clearly, if you looked at the cover. She ends up reconnecting with this white man that she loved in college, but she was scared to date him because back in them times it was like, we not supposed to be together, and I ain't got time to be trying to cross them boundaries with you. I don't feel like teaching nobody about black culture or nothing. So she just was like, they had sex a couple times, she loved it, he really liked her, but she was just like, no, I'm scared, so they didn't do it. Georgia's 54th birthday rolls around, and her best friend throws her a surprise birthday party that she ends up finding out about. And this guy, Stanley, ends up showing up. Is his name Stanley? I believe it's Stanley, but he prefers to be called Stan, something like that. Yeah, Stanley. So Stanley shows up, and Georgia's like, what in the world are you doing here? And she started getting nervous, weak in the knees, sweating, all that. I'm like, okay, girl. This white boy got you feeling like that? It starts off a little rocky because Georgia's like, what are you doing here? Like, how did you even find me? How are you back in my life? Like, I can't believe this. And he was like, he wanted to basically shoot a shot. Like, I loved you back then. You was scared. We grown. I ain't scared no more. You don't need to be scared. Well, he was never scared, but he was like, we grown. Like, I'm a give it all I got, and if it works out, cool. So they end up, like I said, they end up hitting it off, and I was just like, I was so happy that Georgia ended up getting everything that she wanted. She found happiness within herself, and then she also found happiness in someone else. I'm just like, that was so beautiful. It was a beautiful story. I loved the in-between details. It was just like basically showing you things aren't always going to be perfect. It may not happen exactly how you want it to be, and that's okay. Like I said, it's okay to, if you hit that point in your life where you're like, I don't know what it is that I want to do, but this ain't it. No matter what age that is, it is okay to rediscover your passions or your interests. When I was reading this book, it just reminded me of that episode on Insecure when Issa and Lawrence went out to eat. After they'd broken up, they finally reconnected again, and they were both in two different spaces. They'd grown separately, and they sat down and had dinner, and they discussed where they went wrong. That's one of my favorite episodes ever. I miss Insecure so much. But anyways, I just was like, this is what that reminds me of. She expressed herself, the men expressed themselves. They were both parties were open to these discussions, and they both came out happy and feeling like, I'm glad we did this, you know? I have another quote. Georgia went to her class reunion, and one of the guys that spoke said, all we can do is aim to leave this world a little bit better than we found it. So let's not listen to the domestic devil. Let's continue to be the change we want to see in ourselves and in the world. And regardless of how many times you've been divorced, or if you're still looking for that special someone, or you wish you'd chosen a different career, don't give up just yet. If you're still looking for your purpose, don't stop until you find it. Because guess what? For lack of a better cliche, it ain't over till it's over. Period. It ain't over till it's over. Like, it's never over. There's always time for you to figure it out until it ain't no time left. You know? As long as you can, you're on this earth, your eyes open, you can breathe, you can walk, talk. As long as you're breathing, you got time. Today I got time. You got time. That's what I took from this book. This is not my typical type of book review of me really going down through the book like that, but I just wanted to talk about what stood out to me the most and the reason why I really love this book and why I wanted to read it again. Because the first time that I read it, it just spoke to me. And then now I just feel like I need to tell the world. Hopefully the whole world can see this video, and hopefully you get something from what I've said as well. I feel like black women need to read this book. I feel like women period, but I'm speaking to my people, you know. Read this book. If you're feeling like you're in a rut, you stuck, you just don't know what you want to do, this may inspire you to make that move, pivot, get up out of it. Come on, get up out of it. So with that being said, I will give this book 5 stars across the board. 5 across the board. I have 0 complaints. Literally. I Almost Forgot About You by Terry McMillan. Deuces.